All right, I think we might be going now. Okay, good times. I think we're actually streaming. Somebody tell me if we're going. Can you hear the soft, soothing sounds of my voice? Everybody's just talking here. Hey, can you see me? Just keep talking amongst yourself, guys. It's cool. Just the guys streaming here. No big deal. Yeah, I was just having a little bit of an upload speed thing. I haven't streamed in a couple weeks because my internet connection was all screwed up. I was supposed to before I got into doing this streaming, I upgraded my internet plan and everything was good for a couple weeks. And my download, my downstream has been great, but my upload speed went super low a couple weeks ago, lower than it ever was before I even upgraded. And I couldn't do anything, let alone stream. I mean, forget that. It was like I couldn't even get anything that I normally do with the internet, and my family does with the internet to work. So took a little while to get that going again. Today I noticed, hey, it seems to be fixed, so I guess we're good. I was just trying to make sure everything was that the YouTube settings said I was good. So I think I'm good now. All right, so some guys here in the chat, they're talking about, so there's Matt's Monster Fish, SC Fish Keeping. Got to meet both those guys. Look, I see Jimmy's here as well. Oh my goodness, Mass Aquariums, Mike coming through with the $14.99 super chat. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. So I do have to start out by saying if my voice sounds a little scratchy, it's because yesterday all afternoon I was at the Horseshoe screaming for my Buckeyes, who just demolished the Michigan Wolverines. It was so wonderful. I don't generally talk sports on here much. I like to keep it broad. I like to keep it inviting for everyone. But I just got to acknowledge how great that was. My wife and I went to the game. It was so fun. Really didn't know how that was going to go going into it. It has not been the greatest year for us. I mean, we've only lost one game, but it was pretty embarrassing. And they just have kind of underperformed. So it's really good to see them come out and step up in the most important game of the year. So go Bucks. So obviously Matt is from Dayton, close to me, so he's a Buckeyes fan, obviously. And people around here are pretty happy right now. So speaking of Matt and speaking of Zach from SC Fish Keeping, last weekend I was up at the Ohio Cichlid Association, who call the OCA, the Extravaganza. It's a fish show that they host every year. It's in Strongsville, which is just outside of Cleveland, and it is a great show that they put on. They've been doing it, this is the 24th year, okay, so they know what they're doing by this point, so it's a really well-run show. The board of that organization is great. Some people that I know personally. Last year they actually had me come up and film for them, which was great, and they treated me really well. Had a great time doing that. This year I just went up to have fun, to hang out with people that I know and to see some great fish, to have fun, and just relax, and it was pretty awesome. But when I was up there, I got to meet a couple of YouTubers. So that's Matt's Monster Fish. Check him out. And Zach from SC Fish Keeping. Check him out as well. We got to talk a lot about YouTube and about, because, they're newer channels, okay? I think that's the term we're using these days. Don't want to say small. Don't want to say, anything that puts them down, because there's no reason. They're both doing a great job, have great channels, but they're newer channels. And so it was really fun to talk to them, and kind of, it reminded me of a lot of stuff that I talked about on the last stream, which is how it felt starting out, starting a channel, going through all the same sort of struggles. Like, you're making these videos, you want to get people to see them, all the challenges that come with that. So it was really good to talk to those guys. Had a lot of fun, and just, it was a great show overall. So really, it was nice. It was nice getting to go back up there, because I really like a lot of those people a lot. There are some really cool people that are at that show. Jay Wilson was at that show. I like Jay a lot. He's a friend from way back in YouTube, and another channel you should check out. So anyway, that was fun. And then, of course, while I was up there, because the Extravaganza, this fish show, is in Strongsville, like literally right next to the highway, and about a mile, if that, on the other side of the highway is the Ohio Fish Rescue. Okay, so I would assume a lot of you probably saw the video I did there a year ago. It's been viewed a lot of times, and Big Rich, who runs the rescue, it's his house, is a great person and was very welcoming to me. And so, of course, I had to go back there. And a lot of people from the show go over there because, it's like I said, it's right there. And I shot another video, which came out this week, which people seem to enjoy. It's kind of an update. So that's been good. And, yeah, it's just love getting in there. I mean, it's talk about a fish room. It's by far the craziest fish room that I've ever seen in person. I don't, I mean, there are some crazy fish rooms out there, but I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of any that could be crazier than having, I forget what their total total gallons that they have there. I mean, they've got a 4,400 gallon tank, a 3,000, a 1,000, a 750, a big, I think another 1,000 gallon pond or tub, basically a lot. Okay, so anyway, I got to look at the chat for a minute. So a lot of football talk. Again, Mike from Mass with the $14.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. And some other people coming in that I want to say hi to. So Josh Landis, who's here locally, says go Bucks. So go Bucks. Let's see who else is here. Jacob Krem, how you doing? Or Trem. I'm sorry, man. I mess these things up. Adam C is here. If you guys don't know Adam C, another great channel. Adam keeps some great fish. A lot of predator haps is really his specialty. Adam has a great channel, and he's had some really. He's one that where I watch every video, of course. And so if you don't know about Adam C, check that channel out. But yeah, so good to see you guys, and thanks for joining me. It's been, a crazy couple of weeks, fish-wise, just a lot going on, going up to that show, seeing that fish room, seeing all those people. Oh, it's pronounced Shrem. Sorry, man. My name is literally a country, Poland, still gets messed up. Poland, people, especially people can't spell it. They put 2 L's a lot. I think that's because Holland has 2 L's. You'd think, I mean, listen, even if you're not like super into geography. Oh, Palmer Aquatics, $5 soup chat. Thank you. Are you going to wait till I'm done and then go live after? Awesome. So everybody check out Palmer Aquatics after my stream is done. Adam, thanks for the kind words, he says. Well, Adam, I mean, if you guys don't know Adam's channel, he just puts out great videos. He's really good. He keeps fish very well, right? So like there are people who are great fish keepers who have bad channels maybe, or have no channels. There's people who have good channels but maybe aren't great fish keepers, and Adam is one who does both things really well, and is somebody that I look up to in the hobby for sure. And he just got a new 300 gallon tank too, but there's no copying. I think the order was probably, I ordered my tank, waited several months. Adam had his tank go out on him. He had a Marine Land 220 like I did. His busted on him. He got a new 300 gallon tank. Then mine arrived. So we just happened to coincidentally get new 300 gallon tanks. His is the opposite dimensions of mine though. His is 8 feet, but it's, and Adam, you have to correct me if I'm butchering this, but Adam's is the height and the depth are flipped right from mine. So mine's 8 feet, his is 8 feet, but his is 30 deep and 24 tall, and mine's 24 deep and 30 tall. Just, have different preferences, really. Palmer Aquatics with a $2 super chat. Shout out to Adam. Love the channel. I'm glad. I just like, again, it's like we talked about on the last stream, just like to boost people who are doing good things. And Adam's somebody who's been doing great things for a long time. And he had a video blow up that was really cool where he did like a time lapse of African cichlid fry growing, right? So he like shot them when they were first put into the tumbler, And then as they got a little bigger, egg sac kind of shrinks, like a little bigger, and then swimming, and it was super cool. And it just went like millions and millions of views, which was awesome. Um, so, all right, Dr. Sashimi Aquatics. You're not. So Jimmy, you're Sashimi Whiskey. So you guys are not at all connected to each other, I assume. Um, okay. So let's see. I got other stuff that I want to make sure I talk about because I just get on here and I start rambling. Speaking of the fish rescue, got to meet Joe Rockwell, who I don't think necessarily will be watching this, but Joe Rockwell's a guy who lives out in. Oh man, now I forget since I'm saying it. Iowa, Kansas. He lives out in like the true Midwest. Like we say, no, I know, Jimmy, I know it's not you. I'm saying like, are you guys like, oh yeah, apparently there's been people like creating fake channels and getting in people's chats, which is like the dumbest thing. I wasn't saying that's what you were doing. I wasn't saying that's what you were doing, Jimmy. So anyway, Joe Rockwell lives out in like the true Midwest. Oh, Nebraska. Okay, thanks, Matt. And he's almost like an extension of the Ohio Fish Rescue, right? So like he'll take in as many fish as he can out there, and then he makes regular trips up to Cleveland and takes those fish to the Ohio Fish Rescue, and sometimes stops along the way. And it's like a long drive too, but he'll stop along the way. And oh, hey, Lisa's Aquatics. Lisa, I want to make you a moderator. So since you are such a great, if you want, sorry, since you're such a great moderator on all these other people's live streams. So anyways, Joe makes these trips and he'll pick up fish along the way and take them to the rescue, which I just think is amazing of him to do that. And I met him and he's just a great dude. So shout out to Joe Rockwell. Great things that you're doing. And of course, great things that they're doing up with Rich. And so Rich does a lot, and his son Josh Price also does a ton. And I don't feel like he necessarily gets as much credit as he should. And the other thing about the Ohio Fish Rescue is that they have their own channel, their own YouTube channel. What I did with the first video and with this video, we try to drive donations to them, which is great, because people can donate. They've got, you can just donate like straight through PayPal if you want. I think they might have also done a GoFundMe, but what I would really like to drive is to have people subscribe to their channel because they have their own YouTube channel. And I think that is going to be a good way to get them some more money coming in to support what they're doing. So if you guys don't, and maybe Lisa or somebody, if you can put it in the chat, a link to the Ohio Fish Rescue YouTube channel, guys, please subscribe to that because they're trying to they're trying to make some videos of what they're doing. They just put one out like an hour or two ago. They got a whole like this big donation of mostly African cichlids, and they were trying to have people identify them because they're monster fish, guys. That's one thing that happened with my latest video was we got around to the cichlid tank. They have a big like 500-gallon cube cichlid tank, and he was making a point about how it's all Malawi or all old world cichlids. There's not any new world cichlids in there. Well, it turns out there actually were a few new world cichlids in there, which either he forgot about or that had been added like really recently because a bunch of fish came in that weekend. And of course, people in the comments are calling him out about, oh, there's a convict. Oh, there's this or that. It's like, okay, first of all, there's like probably 100 fish in there at least. And second of all, the dude is walking around this fish rescue and being like, that's this, that's this, that's this. Give him a break. I mean, there's a lot of fish. And he knows he'll be the first one to say he's not like a cichlid guy, especially not an African cichlid guy. So cut him a break. But there's Lisa. Thank you for posting that channel. So you guys check out the Ohio Fish Rescue channel. They've got a video today where they got this donation of cichlids and they're saying like, hey, we're gonna like they take them all out and they're netting them and putting them in and saying, hey, help us identify what all these are. And I watch like number ones and Mbuna and number twos, and it's like, they're not super hard to identify, but check that out. It's kind of a fun game. Watch a good video, play a little fish naming game, help them out. Okay. So anyway, Fish Rescue, Extravaganza, Thanksgiving. Hope you all had a happy holiday since it's the end of Thanksgiving weekend, if you're in the U.S., of course. By the way, there's still, I think, some good sales going on. I know who all is having sales. Aquarium Co-op's been having a sale. I think Jay at Northfin USA is having some sales or is going to tomorrow, Cyber Monday. Super Cichlids, I think, is having some sales too. So, um, okay. So the thing about sashimi, I think, isn't it Swisky is sashimi whiskey. Am I not crazy, Jimmy? Am I just like the dumbest person that I'm just making up some connection between those two names? I don't even know what. It's just I'm the dumbest, most American idiot person. So I'm sorry. Okay, and I missed something back here. Oh, I missed Adam, $5 super chat. Thank you, Adam. Um, so I saw that Mike said, am I still going to do a beta and a spec? All right, so what you guys can't see, I've got a few. I'm trying to make what you see in this live stream a little better because this is kind of boring. You see well, my dumb face. You see this dog cage back here, and by the way, there's a dog. I got to turn the right. You still can't see him. There's a dog back there. And then you can sort of, there's the fish making an appearance. You can at least see him a little bit, but it's just not a good view. So what I'm working on is having something over on this side of the desk. Fluval actually sent me a couple of tanks. They sent me a spec. I'm like giving all this away here, but whatever. They sent me a 5-gallon spec and an EB, so I'm going to try a shrimp tank, I think, for the first time. And so Mike's asking me if I'm going to do a beta in this 5-gallon spec. I think I'm going to try. We'll see. And then there's another tank I've got back here that I'm working on. I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm still working that out. But hopefully I'm going to have some better stuff for you guys to see here. See here in the background of my streams. Okay. Oh, so Zach says Joe is from Omaha. Cool. William Winter. Steve, have you named your fish yet? No, I have not. I was going to let my kids, I have boys that are 5 and 7. I was going to let them name the fish. Their names were really bad that they came up with, like you would expect. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. I've got a list of names. He's just Umby. I should name him though. Everybody names their Umbies like all these big Goliath kind of names, like these very strong, like Nordic kind of names. I got to do something like that at some point. Matt says I should just call it spoiled fish. And let's see. Everyone is talking, which is what I do when I'm on these streams. Oh, yeah. And Joe said he would carpool Zach up because Zach's out there near Joe, I think. Carpool him up there. Yeah, Joe's just a good dude. Let's see. Oh, does he have a website, the guy from Nebraska? I don't think that it's not Richard from Nebraska. It's Joe Rockwell. I don't think he has a website, but he's very active in the Ohio Fish Rescue Facebook group. So you can hit him there. Okay. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Hope you guys are having a good Thanksgiving weekend. Hope you've been watching some football. I'm gonna try and not talk about the Buckeyes. Every 2 seconds because I want to. All right. So another thing, did another video last week about this. I had seen some footage on Instagram or maybe Facebook, but it was originally from Instagram of these Plecos in Florida. Just like thousands on thousands of Plecos. Like the craziest thing I'd seen in a long time. I saw it probably a month or two ago, actually. I was like, man, what is going on with these Plecos? And then for some reason, a couple weeks ago, I saw something about it again or I remembered it and I thought, like it just sort of popped into my head like, I would like for more people to know about this because it seems like a real problem. It's a problem in general. People releasing their fish into the wild, their pet fish, because they don't know either they don't know what they're doing or they have good intentions, but it's just generally a bad idea. Because most of the time the fish you're keeping are not native to your area, and I'd say probably the majority of the time, people like they'll get an Oscar or something and it gets way too big for their tank, and instead of taking it somewhere, giving it someone, selling it, taking it to the Ohio Fish Rescue, they'll just try to like release it somewhere in a river or lake or pond, and probably they just die over the winter. To tell you the truth, I'd say probably that's your most most common scenario is these fish just die, which is awful. But then I think sometimes you have a situation like they have in Florida where somebody releases a fish in an area where it's not native, and it can take over. And there was a lot of debate. I put out a video. I reached out to the guy, a couple people actually, but the main guy is like a diver, a certified diver, who shot a bunch of, it looked like GoPro footage in this spring in Florida. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, would you mind if I use some of this footage in a YouTube video? I make videos about aquariums, and I'd like to spread this. Like, I'd like to raise awareness about this. And he said, sure. He was all about it. Another guy said yes, too. And so I put out the video, and I put it to some dramatic music and just talked about it. But what was interesting, and the video did pretty well, but there's the comments. Oh, the comments. I'm very lucky. It was really a good reminder for me of, thank you for linking the video, Lisa. It was really a good reminder for me of how great my comment section is, like 99.9% of the time. And honestly, as fish keepers and fish YouTubers, we've got it pretty good. Our comment sections tend to be pretty good compared to the rest of YouTube, unfortunately. I mean, if you take a look at any mainstream YouTube video or like music videos or any of these things, and you look at the comments, oh man, it's terrible. Well, this video, it was clear that YouTube had been showing this video to a lot of people who were not like our normal people, not fish keepers, just regular people, because it devolved into like, and I tried to moderate it, but it just like went crazy into just dumb things and politics and every other kind of thing. It's like, that's not what this is about. But, so that was all bad. I mean, whatever. People will be people. At least they're watching the video. But what was also interesting is there was a lot of debate about, like, what is the reason for this? You know, like, was this really somebody releasing their plecos into the... Because they're basically just common plecos. Was it somebody really releasing their plecos into the wild? And the truth is, I don't know. And I don't know if anyone knows. Some people speculated that it was like from a fish farm that had flooded out, and they moved into these springs that way. Some people said that they were introduced intentionally. I don't know. I would like to see proof of that if that's the case. Either way, clearly it's a problem. And of course there are people also in the comments who are saying it's not a problem. They're fish. It's just nature. Nature does what it wants and all of this. And it's like, yeah, I guess. Okay, whatever, maybe. But it's just like reading these comments. And of course a lot of people, and I kind of made a mistake in the video a little bit because I talked about how there are people, they're trying to like take care of the problem. And I didn't really mean to imply this, but like, cause a lot of this footage that I used in the video is this diver, and he's like kind of reaching out his hand as he's swimming along to try and like catch him. They're not like trying to alleviate this problem, sending divers down there to catch them by hand. Like, that's not exactly what's happening. They're trying, I think, a bunch of different methods, fishing and all sorts of things. But of course, a lot of that comment section has devolved into like ways to kill them and spear them and do all these crazy. It's just like, oh, come on. But again, whatever. It's going to happen. So, yeah. Hey, Taylor, Simply Better. Yeah, we're talking about the Pleco video, and thank you. But yeah, it's the comment section on that. It's unfortunate, you know. And like I said, I really did try to moderate it, but like, there's a point where, especially like if you get a top level comment and then you get like just a bazillion comments underneath, it's like you can delete the top level one but then you've deleted like 100 comments or 200 comments, and it's like that gets into like this area of like, I mean, I want people to keep seeing the video, and when people comment, the more people comment, the more people YouTube will show it to. If you delete like 100 comments, how does that affect it? I don't know. Is that just me being selfish and wanting more people to see it, or wanting more comments? Maybe. So, you know, am I failing there? Possibly. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bad situation, I think, overall. Like, the take I really disagree with is the people saying like, oh, it's nature and it's fine, like that they're in there. Um, that I really disagree with. I don't think it's good to have like the damage that these thousands or tens of thousands of plecos are doing to this natural spring. Like, no, I don't like that is not good. And even if you're not into manatees, I mean, I'm not like some huge manatee fan. I mean, I think they're cool. Our zoo here has a couple manatees. We have a really great zoo in Columbus, and it's cool to go up and see them, and you can see them like up close. They're cool animals. But like, even if you're not like into conservation of manatees, just be into like not introducing South American fish into North America and all the trouble that can cause. I mean, it's like you're picking favorites of fish, I guess, but I just don't think it's not a good thing, just in general. Um, so yeah, that's sort of what I'm saying is don't release your fish into the wild. Whether that's what happened there or not, just don't do it. Okay, probably missed some comments because I'm still bad at this. Let's read through some of these comments. Which these are all great comments because you guys are all great. I mean, I guess maybe some of you found me from that video, which is, so obviously based on what I'm seeing here, you guys are not the people. I doubt that all the people talking about politics and silliness on that video are now in this live stream and making comments. I would say there's probably zero overlap there. Philly Man Pete says, ever watch Andy Wood's videos? He's a big tank, big cichlid guy, and his presentation is hilarious. Andy Woods. That name sounds familiar. I don't know why. I'll have to check that out. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where when I see it, I'll know it, and I'll know what you're talking about, but I don't know what that is. Kevin's Aquariums, anyone know of any fish rescues in southern Minnesota? I don't. Maybe somebody does. I mean, there's not a lot of these around is part of the problem, right? That's why Joe is in the middle of the country and is making these trips to Cleveland, is because very few people. I mean, I don't have space for a bunch of pacus and fish, and I'm a crazy fish person. Most hobbyists and even people who are really into it and have fish rooms and everything don't have the type of space needed to keep and to rescue these massive fish. So, Rich is definitely an outlier. So there's not a lot of these kind of rescues. I think there are pet stores who will take fish in, like Gerber's in Dayton is one. You guys saw. I did a video about Rich and those guys picking up some fish from Gerber's, but he's got these big vats, like massive tanks there, and we'll take fish in from people. But there's not a lot of true rescues like what Rich is doing. So, okay, apparently I need to check out Andy Woods and remember what that is. Oh, the Loach guy says half the fishing channels based down in Florida showcase those guys catching non-native fish. I'm not the biggest fan of those channels. I've had sort of mixed feelings about fishing in general. I'm surprised at the amount of overlap there is of people who fish and people who keep fish. But I'm also not like I've never been a person that likes to fish or hunt or anything. So maybe that's just me. But like I don't understand how you reconcile. I mean, maybe if you're just doing catch and release, but then you're like hooking these fish. That's not very nice to the fish. But there's so many people who do it. So I don't know if I'm just wrong or if I've just got I don't know, just a weird opinion about that. But anyways, some of those fishing channels, and I assume you're talking about like Catch 'em All and guys like that. And I know Rich at the Fish Rescue did a show down in Florida with those guys and is cool with those guys. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about them. I feel like I just want people who are on YouTube and who have an audience, and I feel like a lot of those guys have a big audience. It's just important to me that people showcase or display proper fish keeping practices, or at least make an effort to do that. And I don't know the extent to which those guys are always doing that is my concern. To be fair, I don't watch them enough to really know. But from what I feel like I've heard, it's maybe not always the case. So I don't know. But if what you guys or that one comment is saying is true, that they're catching non-native fish, I wonder if they're catching them because people have released them, or if they're just trying to make videos and I don't know. I don't know. I kind of, yeah, again, mixed feelings on all the fishermen. But I'll say this: channels about fishing way bigger than channels about fish keeping. So I'll give them that. All right, scrolling down. Lisa says some of the comments were unreal. Yes, they were. And Zach says, I've had some terrible comments made about me personally when I did a collab on a bass fishing channel. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. I feel like I almost shouldn't talk about negative comments or about bad comments because of my gender. I can't imagine what female fish keepers or female YouTubers go through. I cannot even imagine. I mean, I've gotten a couple weird comments over the years about my appearance, like not just like, hey, like they were complimentary, but in a super creepy way. And that's been like just a couple. I can't imagine what females have to deal with. Oh goodness. It's got to be bad. Because I mean, it's a fairly male dominated hobby, unfortunately. I don't know if anybody can argue with that, or at least my audience is certainly majority male. So, goodness, I wonder what some of y'all have to deal with. Jeff says otters are freaking awesome. Yeah, otters are really cool. Oh, KG says introduce otters to eat them. That's one of the I've gotten comments about that. I mean, I don't know that introducing other animals to take care of the animals that shouldn't be there is the answer. But otters are pretty cool. Taylor says back home in Alaska, northern pike are a big introduced problem because they're voracious and destroying native fish populations and breeding like crazy. Well, that's what these plecos are doing. I don't know that they're destroying native fish as much as they're disturbing things, but they're just like they're very difficult. They have no predators, right? So they're in there and they're just reproducing and not going away at all. Jeremy's Wild Studio says we have a great community, but I know there's YouTubers in other fields who don't even read their comments. Oh yeah, I should put the comments up on the screen here. I forgot to do that. Yeah, I can understand how there are people who don't even read their comments because, my goodness, it would be bad. Cycloscape, any thoughts on getting Africans again after the OCA? Wonder if it gave you some inspiration. I'll tell you what. Last year at OCA, I had already made the decision to rehome all my African cichlids, to switch to this umbi. And so there were a bunch of African cichlids up there, but I was like in a real mindset where I was like, I don't want to say over it, but it was like I was ready to make that change. And like I was not doubting making that change. Like I was feeling good. So there was not really much up there where I was like, oh man, I would love to have that. Or like I wasn't really thinking about bringing fish home. This year, a year removed from it, and I'm up there, and it started with the pre-sales because there's a lot of people will post lists of fish that they're going to bring. And so I'm seeing all those lists, and I'm like, oh man. Like it really gave me the itch. You know, I'm a recovering African cichlid addict, right? So, and there were some fish up there that I definitely wanted to buy. It helped that I had nowhere to put them if I brought them home. I would have had to like set up. I still have that stock tank that I used temporarily for this guy when I was getting the new tank. I would have had to like run home, throw some cycle media in there, set that thing up, but like I had no long-term plan for if I had bought any fish, so that helped, right? So. But it does make me want to get them. It's not like I hate them. I was tired of the aggression. And I will say, when I see them up there fighting each other, I don't miss that. I'm not exactly excited for that again. Okay. Let's keep going here. Oh, Greg Jones is here. Go Bucks. Yes, Greg. Go Bucks. Oh, I missed a comment. I feel like John from KG Tropicals because he's always like struggling with the scrolling of the comments. Phil Klamfoth says, what happened to Maximus Aquatics? Haven't seen him post in a while. That is a good question. He sold or downsized or they died, a bunch of his fish. Um, so he doesn't have. He may only have one tank now. He's my friend John. He lives very close by. Maximus Aquatics. That's another channel. Check out Maximus Aquatics. He is. If you met him, you would not realize like that he's really funny. And so his channel is this great mix of like serious good fish keeping stuff, and then just all of a sudden he'll just get silly and hilarious. And he has like an alter ego. So check him out, Maximus Aquatics. Leave him comments saying, please come back to us, John. Because I don't think he's made a video in at least a year. But he's my friend John. He's a really good guy. But I think that's what's going on with him, Phil, is that he doesn't have as many fish now, so he probably doesn't have as much to make videos about. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, some stuff in the comments. I may have to go back to my list of stuff that I need to talk about. Oh, IFG is here. What's up, IFG? All right. Matt Sorelli got a 10-foot, 375 gallon from Custom Aquariums. Great quality tank, but I found a few micro bubbles in the glass. Is this just the nature of such large pieces of glass? Well, mine's an 8-foot, not a 10-foot, and mine is not 3/4 inch glass. I think mine is 5/8. But I would say no. I mean, usually they really inspect their glass. I would talk to them about it. Not that you want to get like a 375 replaced necessarily, but I would definitely talk to them about it. Like mine doesn't have any micro bubbles. I think when they did my inspection, there was like some teeny tiny little scratch somewhere that I don't even remember where it was and I can't see. Mabuna Marcus. Okay, so if you guys don't know Mabuna Marcus, and this stream isn't all just going to be like, hey, check out this channel. But you know what? If it is, sorry. Like, if there's people here that have good channels, I'm going to talk to you about them. So Mabuna Marcus was a big inspiration to me when I was starting YouTube, and still is. He is in Canada and has some awesome fish, awesome tanks. I can't express enough how much of an inspiration he was. He was just such a big influence on me. So Marcus, thanks for coming by the stream. I appreciate it. It's all the old Mabuna Marcus, IFG, man. It's like we're all hanging out together still. It's so great. Yeah, Taylor says the weird comments are no fun and the ladies get more weird ones. All the insults used to bother me, but I feel a lot more thick-skinned now and I just roll my eyes. Well, that is good. That's got to be hard to do. But I guess after a while it's like you've heard it and you just don't care, but it's annoying. I would think it's annoying. It's annoying to me. Phil Dixon says, what happened to that black and blonde-haired girl from Florida? I assume you're talking about Jenny Lynx from Solid Gold. Yeah, she hasn't made a video in a few months. So she has worked with Custom Aquariums as well. And I think she, just had some personal stuff going on. That's what this all is, right? Is like we have to balance our hobby and our secondary hobby of YouTube and our life and real life. And sometimes real life gets in the way. I think she posted something that something on somewhere on social media that she was going through some stuff, and so she's going through some stuff. I hope she's doing okay. I really like her channel a lot. I don't keep goldfish, but I don't care. Like, that doesn't matter. I like watching aquarium channels or pet channels or whatever, whether I keep that particular kind of fish or pet or not. Like, I just like good channels, and Jenny has a great channel. She's growing like crazy. Hopefully that hasn't slowed down too much since she's taken this break. But yeah, she had like a whole outbuilding that she redid and turned into like a big fish room and got a bunch of tanks and cages. She keeps she has all kinds of animals and cats and bunnies, I think, and then also some reptiles. So she's got reptile stuff from them, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. I hope that she's okay and that she comes back. I think everybody misses her and wants her to come back. Okay. Yeah, so I see what John's been saying. It's like you scroll a little bit and it takes like a big like jumps on you. Okay, yeah, Lisa agrees. She gets some weird comments too. Guys, let's just not make weird comments at people, whether they're guys or girls or whatever they are, and no weird comments. Okay, Cruz says, Steve, after watching your 10-gallon rack video, I contemplated drilling all my 10s for months and finally did it. 4 down and 4 to go. Thanks for the encouragement. Awesome. Yeah, so I was very hesitant for a long time to drill my 10-gallon tanks because if you are not careful, you can break them very easily. The thinner the glass, when you drill them, the more likely they are to break, right? Did you guys hear my dog snoring? My dog is back here sawing logs. Um, yeah, if you drill a 10, it can crack on you real easy. So yeah, you just got to go slow and be careful. But if you do it right and you don't have too much pressure on them, like when you put them up and whatever you have hanging off the back, just don't put too much weight on the back hanging down, like tubing wise or bulkhead, like and fitting wise. Yeah, you're good. Mine were good. Down the wormhole. First time over here. Wanted to say hi. Welcome down the wormhole. Hello from Norway. Freya, hello. Hello in Norway. That's awesome. I just love that. I'll say it on every stream. Just that I love the global community that we have. Jeremy says that Jenny posted on Instagram she's taking a break. Yeah. People take breaks. It's a grind. And she was posting real regularly too. So to do that and to like post all the time, it's a grind. I think she's sort of doing it for a living now. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. It's still a lot of work. Okay, yeah, she has awesome frogs and geckos. Yes, she does. So, oh yeah, and Lisa posted Jenny's channel. Guys, go over to Jenny's channel and just say, hey Jenny, hope you're doing okay, and love to see you back when you're ready. That's what we want to do is encourage nice comments. Let's just do nice comments. Candy's surprised John isn't in this chat. Hey, people got stuff going on. I wasn't in John's last chat because I was driving up to Cleveland. And then he was talking about me. He was talking about the Pleco video. But, hey, it's can't always make every stream. I've been trying to make more of them, but, it's tough. It's tough. Let me take a drink here. Freya says, my Tetris have some white scales on them. What to do? Like white spots or white scales? Because if it's white spots, it's probably ick and you need to treat the tank. Kevin, what's everyone's take on putting a gold nugget plexiglass, I assume that's a autocorrect, gold nugget pleco, I would assume, in with African cichlids? I don't know. It depends on the size. I don't know if I don't think I would do that. Personally, you can put Synodontis in with African cichlids, and they're usually fine. But yeah, let's see. It's a Ask Steve. Okay, what are we? Oh, is it okay to mention a Facebook page here? Not mine, but a great fish community. Yeah, that's fine with me. If you want to post a good fish YouTube or fish Facebook group, that's cool. Yeah, so Jeff, go ahead and do that. Oh, Greg says we must all summon John together. It's cool. It's holiday weekend. John probably has some other stuff going on. We're talking about John from KG Tropicals because he streams a lot. I've been trying to get into his streams and to everybody else's streams that are doing them because, hey, it's just it's always nice. It's always nice to support each other. That's what we're trying to do. And, I'm doing these. I'll probably be doing this till about 9 o'clock. Not doing crazy long streams. I'm not like Corey. I think Corey did a 4-hour stream on Thanksgiving. I don't think I could sit here and do this for 4 straight hours. That's a long stream. But then again, Corey takes everything like, he takes it to like that extreme, which is awesome. Oh, Do you also have members only? Like on my YouTube channel? Is that what you're saying? Do I have like members of my YouTube channel? Because I do not. They have not given me that feature yet. Even though I thought it was supposed to be if you were over. I think that it used to be a higher threshold of subscribers, and then they lowered it, and I meet it now. I think it was 50,000, but I don't have it. Um, it's like if I go to my YouTube settings, like there's all these, showing you all the things that you have, or if you've got any like strikes against you or whatever, and then things that you have, and I don't have. They have not given that to me yet. I don't think that there's anything you can do to make that happen. I think you just wait, and when YouTube decides that you can have it, you can have it. But when they do, I will offer it, and that will be great. Zenzo is here from Tizawa Tanks, another great channel. Check out Zenzo. Oh, Zach says John's wife Lisa just followed him on Instagram. Felt like that was a big deal. Did an air fist pump. Lisa's great. She's John and Lisa both were at the Aquatic Experience, so it was good to meet them both in person. And yeah, Lisa's getting into doing her own stuff. She always had like her own discus and her own tanks and stuff back in the day, but it's very cool that she's getting more into like having her own social media. So that's, of course, so we're talking about two different people. So Lisa's Aquatics is here and is doing a great job in the moderating the chat. But we're talking also about Lisa from KG Tropicals. It's John's wife. So two different Lisas, just to make sure we're clear about all that. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Do you know if the goldfish is bigger than the Oscar? They can live together. Hey, I don't know that I would put an Oscar in with a goldfish. Here's the problem, right? The main problem to me is that they require generally very different temperatures, Oscars and goldfish. So unless I'm totally wrong about Oscars, but I'm pretty sure that they need much warmer water than goldfish. Okay, Greg is asking, what's Big Rich's plan for that pool? Odds he gets divorced in the process. So did you guys, if you didn't see the video, this year's video about the Ohio Fish Rescue, at the end, he's talking about, and if you didn't watch till the end, you didn't see this either, which, come on, you got to watch till the end of every video. Every minute of every video. He has, off of his fish room, so his fish room is an addition, and the room that addition is off of is a massive indoor pool, right? It's 15 feet in the deep end. I wish I had shown that on his first, like on the first tour I did, because it was like, it's equally crazy to the fish room is like this, well, his whole house really, but this, and a couple of you guys in the chat have been there now, and can back me up on this. His whole house is crazy, and this indoor pool is crazy. And now, so we showed it at the end of this video, and he's talking about, and a little bit tongue in cheek, converting that pool, this indoor pool, into like a fish pond. I don't know if here's the thing. I could see it going either way. I could equally see him doing it because he's like that crazy in a good way. Or I could see him not doing it because his wife, she puts up with a lot. She helps out. She goes on a lot of these rescues and is very supportive. But if that's like her thing is that pool, then I could see her putting her foot down. But I don't know. The way that house is and all his stuff is, I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't put her foot down that often because that place is crazy. So yeah, he wants to put some big fish in there, like some really big fish, and do that. And I just think that's it'll be nuts if he does it. But they've got a lot going on right now, so I would think that's probably a little bit far off. They've got to finish this addition, take that wall out in the middle, get that 2,000-gallon tank set up, get a couple tanks that were outside in the driveway set up and stands built for them. They have some ideas to build another really big tank. So they've got enough going on even before they start on that pool. So we'll see. But man, it's that whole place is nuts. What else was I going to talk? Oh, there was one other thing I was going to talk about. Corey, if you guys, so of course you got to follow Aquarium Co-op because they do great things, and Corey's awesome and is a great supporter of the community and the hobby. But he just got in, and it supposedly is, I think, the first one in the United States to have imported these ZIS. If you're not familiar with ZIS, Z-I-S-S, it's a brand of aquarium products. This bubble biofilter. And so I've had Zist products in the past. They make really great egg tumblers. They're pricey, but they're really good. They make breeder boxes as well. But they make this new product, which is these bubble biofilters. And they're basically, if you've ever seen, I know Joey did these and other people have done these, which is, although I think Joey came out and said he just doesn't think they make any sense. But they're like, people will take like a just bottle like this, okay, and they'll put it in, and they'll put like K1 media in it to make like a moving bed, a little miniature moving bed filter. They'll run air through it. Okay, so these Zist filters are basically that, but like pre-made, right? They come with media in them. They've got like a sponge on the intake, and they're meant to just like be suction cupped inside your tank, and they like come in all one package. And so he's got these in now, and he says he loves them, and I think they're cool. They look cool, assuming they work. But what I'm wondering Bob Steenfot did a video about them, I think today, and my one comment was like, why did they make them that color? So they're like I said they're the color of boogers. They're like this snot green color, or like greenish yellow color, and I just don't understand. Now, Corey, I think, replied to my comment and Bob's comment, because Bob said, why didn't they just make them clear? I understand why they didn't make them clear, but what I don't understand is why they made them that particular color. To me, make them like a smoky black or something, like a translucent black or something, so you can still see in them. But because Corey was saying if they're clear, they'll look like algae, like if you have clear tubing for a canister filter, how they just end up looking all nasty. That he's saying that they would look like that. Maybe they would, but man, I just couldn't imagine putting something in my tank that was that color. Apparently, I'm probably in the minority on that, but I just don't. Yeah, I'm not into something that's like. Oh, Mr. B's fish says blend into plants. It's not the right color green though to blend into plants. Like if it had been like a green, I'd understand it. It's like this weird green. I don't know. But what do I know? I don't make products. So I'm sure they had some reason for it. Maybe they could get that color of plastic like astronomically cheaper than another color. Who knows? That's the one thing. It's like people will criticize companies. Like everybody criticizes Apple for a million things, and maybe they deserve some of it. But like the one thing you gotta admit is that like there's a ton of really smart people that work at Apple, and every decision that they make, probably a million factors go into it. And so there's probably a bunch of factors that went into the color of that filter. Who knows? What I will say is that I love anybody that's innovating, right? So like they're taking an idea and they're making it easy for people. Like you don't have to build something. So I'm into that. I'm into like companies that are putting out new stuff, because it's like you get bored with it's like the same stuff. And a lot of the world, and Corey has said this, like a lot of the world is way far ahead of the United States. And I know many of you can probably attest to this since you're out there outside of this country. We're really not at the forefront of a lot of things in this hobby technology wise. So that's going to be, that's going to be a new thing that's hitting the shelves here in the U.S. That something new for people to check out. So I'm into that. There's that. Oh my gosh. Total brain fart. That new controller product that those Planet Aquarium guys, Oliver Knott and George Farmer and those guys, they put out. It's like somebody chatted to me this. Oh my God, I'm total brain fart. What the name of that product is? That new controller. It's like an app and a controller you can plug stuff into. Oh man, why am I forgetting the name of that thing? Seriously, nobody can rescue me in the chat. Anyway, I bought one actually. They did like I forget. It wasn't. It was one of the crowdfunding platforms. They put it out a couple weeks ago. I bought one just because I don't. Oh, Felix, thank you. Goodness. I hate when people do that. my favorite. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and my favorite is when like you're driving along, listening to a podcast, and the guys can't remember something, or the people on the podcast can't remember something, and you're just like yelling in your car. You're yelling the name of the thing at them, and they can't remember it. So maybe some of you were yelling Felix at me, but yeah. So I pre-ordered one of them because I think it's a cool idea, and of course there's a lot of controllers, especially on the saltwater side of the hobby, which is I think we have to admit is pretty far ahead of us technology-wise, unfortunately. I say us, like I mean just as far as being a freshwater hobbyist. Unfortunately, yeah, they technology-wise, saltwater is far ahead, and so I'm happy to see anything that's introduced that it's marketed toward freshwater people, and I think that's cool. So bought one. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. We'll see next year. Hopefully it's cool. If I get it, I think it's supposed to ship next year. So hopefully that will be a good product. All right. Excuse me. So I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon. It's like 1 minute to 9. Like I said, I just am doing an hour on these for now because I think an hour is appropriate at least for what I've got to say. Not sure if I'm going to do these every week. Again, if you missed the beginning, I didn't do these for a couple weeks because my internet connection was my upload was all screwed up, and I didn't want to do one of these that was like all grainy. But now that that's fixed, hopefully you're going to do these maybe not every week, but a little more regularly. So just want to say, hope you all, if you're in the U.S., hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving holiday and a great weekend. Hopefully you didn't spend too much money on Black Friday and beyond. Thank you to all of you for joining. Thank you for your support, for watching the videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, all those things. But thank you so much for watching the live stream, and for those of you commenting, I appreciate it. And so hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, a good week ahead. Thank you as always. Have a good one.